Imagine waking up in the middle of a snowy field. You're wearing someone else's clothes. You don't know where you are. And the last thing you remember happened 15 months ago. This isn't the opening scene of a psychological thriller. This is the true story of Steven Thomas Kubacki, a 24-year-old college student who vanished in 1978, only to reappear 458 days later with no memory of where he had been, how he survived, or why he had disappeared. In today's episode of Bizarre Files, we're diving into one of the strangest vanishing acts in modern history. A case that blends the paranormal, the impossible, and the unsettling feeling that some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Stay with me until the end, because every theory about Steven Kubacki's disappearance becomes stranger than the last. Let's rewind to February 1978. Steven Kubacki was a normal student at Hope College in Michigan, studying German and anthropology. By all accounts, he was intelligent, outdoorsy, and stable. Nothing hinted at the bizarre path his life was about to take. His disappearance began near the shores of Lake Michigan, in a region notoriously associated with strange vanishings called the Michigan Triangle, a place many compare to the Bermuda Triangle. Over the decades, aircraft have vanished, ships have sunk without explanation, and people have disappeared without a trace. And Steven would become one of them. On February 20th, Steven told friends he was going cross-country skiing near Saugatuck. The weather was cold, but nothing dangerous. He packed his gear, strapped on his skis, and vanished into the snowy landscape. He never came back. When Steven didn't return, a search was launched. What they found only made the mystery deeper. Search teams located his skis and poles neatly placed on the ground. Nearby, they found footprints, Steven's footprints, leading out onto a frozen part of Lake Michigan. And then, the footprints simply stopped. No cracks in the ice, no broken surface, no signs of a struggle. Just nothing. It was as if Steven had walked straight off the planet. Experts concluded he must have fallen through the ice. A tragic accident, a closed case. Except for one detail. They never found a body. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into a year. Hope faded. Steven Kubacki was officially considered dead. Until May 5th, 1979, 458 days after Steven vanished. A man wakes up in a grassy field in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, 700 miles away from where he disappeared. He is confused, disoriented, and wearing clothes that are not his. He stumbles into town and walks into his father's house. His father stares at him in disbelief. "Steven, where have you been?" Steven had no answer. He had no memory of the last 15 months. The last thing he remembered was skiing. Then, nothing. An entire year and a half of his life, erased. When authorities questioned Steven, his statements baffled everyone. He said he didn't know where he had been. He didn't know how he got to Massachusetts. He didn't know why he was wearing different clothes. He had a backpack filled with maps. He didn't remember drawing he had hiking boots, caked with dirt from multiple regions of the US. And he carried cash from several states. He said he felt like he had been running or traveling, but not in the physical sense. More like his consciousness had been somewhere else entirely. Doctors examined him. Psychologists questioned him. Federal investigators interviewed him. Their conclusion: Steven was physically healthy. No brain damage, no trauma, no drugs, no signs of mental illness. He was simply missing 15 months of his life just like that. The more investigators looked, the stranger the case became. Detail number 1. The distance. Steven reappeared 700 miles away, with no record of traveling, no vehicle, no ticket purchases, and no one recalling meeting him. Detail number 2. The backpack inside were maps, some hand-drawn, others marked with trails and notes. But Steven claimed he had no memory of making them. Detail number 3. The mysterious clothes. He was wearing someone else's clothes, including durable outdoor gear far more suited for long-term survival than what he originally had. Detail number 4. The timing. His reappearance was almost exactly 458 days after he disappeared. Not a random accidental discovery, more like a calendar marker. Even more unnerving, Steven refused further interviews. He withdrew from the public eye. He didn't want attention. He didn't want explanations. He simply wanted to move on. But the world wasn't ready to let the mystery die. A case like this doesn't end. It evolves. Over the years, researchers, investigators, and paranormal enthusiasts have proposed theories to explain what happened to Steven. And each one feels more unreal than the last. Let's break them down. Theory 1. Amnesia plus survival. The normal explanation. Some experts claim Steven suffered a fugue state, a rare form of amnesia where a person loses their identity and wanders for months. But psychologists argue fugue states usually last days or weeks, not 15 months. People in fugue can still track basic actions like traveling or spending money. The neat placement of skis and sudden vanishing don't match psychological fugue behavior. So while possible, it doesn't solve the bizarre footprints ending on solid ice. Theory 2. Abduction, human. Was Steven kidnapped, held somewhere, used for something? This theory fails for one important reason. Why release him 700 miles away, wearing better survival clothing and with money? Kidnappers don't usually return their victims upgraded. Theory 3. Alien abduction. A classic theory. Aliens abduct him, test him, return him after they're done. People who believe this point to missing time, sudden displacement, memory loss, altered clothing, no physical injuries. But Steven himself never mentioned UFOs or beings of any kind. Still, many say his experience fits the pattern too perfectly to ignore. Theory 4. Parallel dimensions, slips in reality. This theory suggests Steven stepped, accidentally or otherwise, into another dimension, another plane, or another version of Earth. The footprints stopping abruptly, the clean disappearance, the missing time, the sudden reappearance, the lack of explanation. All are signatures of what theorists call dimensional displacement. It's wild, yes, but so is Steven's case. Theory 5. The Michigan Triangle. Phenomenon. The region where Steven disappeared is notorious for vanishing ships, disappearing aircraft people, missing without bodies, bizarre compass failures. Some believe the triangle contains electromagnetic anomalies that distort perception, time, or even physical reality. Steven might have simply stepped into something we don't understand. Theory 6. Steven knows the truth, but doesn't want to say now. We enter the darkest theory. After reappearing, Steven refused to talk publicly. He finished university. He earned a master's degree. Then he earned a PhD in clinical psychology. His doctoral thesis, a book titled Dissociation, the Boundary Between Mind and Body. Was he trying to understand what happened to him? Or was he hiding it? Some believe Steven knows exactly where he went, and that speaking about it would change everything people believe about reality. Today, Steven Kubacki is alive but extremely private. He refuses interviews. He avoids documentaries. He does not address the disappearance. And maybe that silence is the strangest part of all. Most people who survive the unexplainable want answers. Steven wants distance. He behaves like someone who saw something or learned something that he cannot unsee. His story remains one of the most baffling human vanishings ever recorded. No body, no clues, no memory. Just a man who stepped into the snow and into history. So what happened to Steven Kubacki? Did he wander for 15 months in a fugue state across the United States? Was he abducted by humans or by something else entirely? Did he slip into another dimension within the Michigan Triangle? Or is the truth something even stranger? Something he has chosen to bury forever? Tell me in the comments, which theory do you believe? And what would you do if you lost 458 days of your life? This has been Bizarre Files. And remember, some disappearances are accidents, others are warnings, and some are doors that were never meant to open.